Chapter 5. No. You say defiantly. The box is mine. Attack. Says an awful commanding voice in your head. No, wait. You say. But it's too late. The terrible purple nightmare monster, the wild things, the deer alien, the bear, the tiger are all focusing on you. You back against the tile wall, getting as far away from them as possible. The grizzly moves first. It bellows, lowers its head, lands on all fours, and runs straight at you. Like a runaway train. Behind the grizzly, like heat-seeking missiles, come two massive cone hands. They're heading straight for you. You close your eyes. But you can't close your ears. Wham-whumph. Wham. Crunch. You open your eyes. The cone hands missed. Yes. Then. Whomp. A mountain of bear sweeps you up and shoves you through the shattered plaster and glass. For one stunned second you are flying. You can see the evening sky. A tree branch. You windmill your arms. Then. Wham. The air explodes from your lungs as you hit the ground. Your spine crunches. Teeth slam together. You fall backward and your head hits the ground. Whump. Blackness. You wake up amidst the smells of hay, medicine, and animal poop. You're surrounded. 5 kids standing around you in a circle. Solemn, tired-looking kids. One of them looks familiar. You're Marco, you say with a little laugh. We had lunch together today. Marco nods and gives you a little wave. The others introduce themselves. Jake. Cassie. Rachel. Axe. They explain about the Yeerks, about the invasion. You learn some vocabulary. The wild things are called Horkbuyer. The deer aliens are Andalites. What about my mom and dad? You ask. Marco walks over and stands right in front of you. Your parents have been taken to a secret underground facility called a Yeerk pool. Picture a sludgy cesspool of a pond the color of molten lead. Horkbuyer warriors will drag your parents out to the end of a pier. They will. Marco. Cassie says angrily. They will drag them out to the end of that pier and they will kick their legs out from under them and force their heads down into the sludge. You stare as Marco drones on. His words stab you in the gut. You don't absorb it all. But you understand your parents are slaves. Slaves of the saddest sort. An intense anger hits you. A desire to strike back, to send these Yeerks back to wherever they came from. You want to save your parents. You have to. It's too late to help your parents, Jake says quietly. And as of now, you have no home and you can't go back to school. You do, and the Yeerks will find you. And it'll be you taking that long walk down the steel pier. Your mind can't grasp it. You try to argue, to convince yourself it's just a trick. But they prove it to you. Axe, a disturbingly pretty boy, turns into an even more disturbing-looking alien. What you now know is an Andalite. There is one nice thing about all this, Cassie says. There is a compensation for all the danger and all the fear. Any animal you can touch, you can become. A dolphin, a skunk, a wolf. An elephant or a grizzly bear, Rachel says. A gorilla. A shark, Marco says. A tiger, a fly, a cockroach, Jake says. Any animal. Any size. But only for 2 hours at a time. You can never stay in morph for more than 2 hours. Why? You wonder. And then you meet Tobias. He was trapped in his red-tailed hawk morph. Now, he lives his life as a bird of prey. They give you a few hours to think about it. You take a walk in the woods behind Cassie's farm. You try to think, but your mind refuses to track. Your jaw hurts, your back aches. You keep thinking about your parents. Unreal. Your whole world shattered, ruined. You feel hopeless as you head back to the barn. The others are waiting for you. I'm ready, you say. Someone produces the box. Your box. The box that destroyed your life. They toss it to the alien. Press your hand on the square nearest to you, he tells you. You step forward and press your hand down on the cube. It tingles, you say. You may remove your hand now, the alien says. You do, thinking that the experiment has failed. You don't feel any different. The others are guarded, but they smile and shake your hand. I want to try it, you say. Cassie leads you into a horse stall. Put your hand on his neck, she tells you. The horse turns and gives you a surprised look. Then he ignores you, going back to eating his hay. His fur feels rough and warm. Focus your mind, Cassie says. See the horse in your imagination. Think about him, what he is, what he represents. You close your eyes, concentrate. Now take your hand away, Cassie says softly. You have the horse inside you. His DNA is in your blood. You can become him. Try it. This is ridiculous, you think. But you have to be sure. You close your eyes. Imagine the horse. Nothing happens. All you feel is a little itching, a distant sensation in your legs. Hurry hee hee hee. Your eyes jolt open. The horse is panicking. Rearing up, nickering just a foot away. When you look down, you understand why. Your chest, your hands are covered with sleek brown fur. You can see your hair flowing around your waist, but it doesn't look like your hair. It looks like a horse's mane. Ugh. You scream. Hurry hee 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 hrrr hee 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 hee. Watch out. Rachel says. She pulls you out of the stall, away from the panicked horse. You stumble back blindly, mesmerized by the sight of your feet exploding out of your shoes. Growing, rounding, turning into hooves. Your body is getting longer, heavier. Whump. You fall forward onto all fours. The horse's mind creeps in. It's nervous, frightened. But not as frightened as your own true mind. Cassie leads you out into the pasture. It's gray, raining. But the fresh air quiets the horse's mind. Without thinking you begin to run. Amazing. You feel strength flowing through your legs, your back. More power than you have ever known. You run until your coat is sleek with sweat and rain. Until your slender legs tremble with exhaustion. Your anger over your parents gives you an intense adrenaline rush. That's enough. Cassie yells. Don't let the morph control you. You can't forget your 2-hour limit. Suddenly you have a new fear. How will you ever undo these changes? Will you ever be human again? You walk back into the barn and focus on your own body. You almost cry with relief when the changes begin. The others are waiting, watching you curiously. How was it? Rachel asks. Fun, you admit. Cassie smiles at you. Morphing isn't a game, Jake says darkly. No, you agree. It's a weapon. And I'm ready to fight the Yerks. Chapter 6. The pleasure fades out of Cassie's face. A weapon. Yeah, I guess that's what morphing is or us. A weapon we can share now that we have the blue box, Jake points out. You feel their attention slip, shift, and lock on this new topic. They debate using the blue box to make an army of animorphs. You try to follow. But it's like when your parents talk politics or discuss the stock market. You don't really know enough to have an opinion and nobody asks what you think. Jake, Rachel, Marco, and Cassie do most of the talking. Axe offers an occasional opinion. Tobias is mostly silent. He's in his red-tailed hawk form, up in the rafters. Even though he doesn't say much, you somehow never forget he's there. You feel left out. The 6 of them, they're obviously a tight group. You suddenly hope the others use the blue box again and again. Then you won't be the only outsider. The rain is plinking on the barn roof and the animals are rattling in their cages and Tobias is preening and Rachel's voice is rising as she argues a point and Marco is rolling his eyes at her when. It all stops. All of it. Every sound. Silence. The rain. Silence. The animorphs in their debating poses. Frozen. The barn full of animals. Stop dead. Frozen. Still. Motionless. Everything and everyone. Except for you. You look up at Tobias. He has one talon off the rafter, wings half open for stability. Frozen in an impossible pose. Slowly, cautiously, you move to the door. Raindrops hover in the air. You're frightened, amazed. It's as if the whole world were a video and someone hit the pause button. You feel small and powerless and terribly alone. Somehow, forgotten. You have an overwhelming desire to stand still, to blend in with the frozen world. A raccoon stands up on its hind legs. You jump about 2 feet. Especially when the raccoon walks through its wire cage. Simply passes through the bars like they're air. The raccoon lumbers to you, and puts one black and white paw on your knee. He looks into your eyes and says, I am the Elemist. Are you an alien? You ask. In a manner of speaking. Did you stop, everything? You ask. Yes. How? You ask. From your perspective, I am an all-powerful being. Human perspective, however, is extremely limited. You stop the rain? Yes. You relax a hair. Almost. This Elemist, whatever it is, doesn't seem to mean you any harm. Why? You ask. Because you've angered me. You feel a chill crawl through your body as the sunlight blinks out. You are in total darkness. Floating in a featureless void. No up. No down. And the Ellimist voice comes from everywhere at once. And from nowhere. I'm sorry, you stutter. What did I do? You have altered the strands of space-time. But I don't even know what space-time is, you protest. Then. You see it. It blinks on like a ride in a carnival. Threads. Hundreds, thousands of them in all the brilliant colors of the spectrum. Running in every direction around you. Threads streaking off into the distance, curling back inside themselves, disappearing, reappearing, twisting, raveling, and braiding. A chaos of complication. And they are changing all of the time. Moving. Growing brighter or dimmer. You can't make sense of it. No matter. It is beautiful. Is something bad going to happen because of me? You ask. That depends. Depends? Depends on what? Your worth. You will take a test to measure your worth. What kind of test? You ask, trying to sound strong. Do well and I will save your family from the Eriks. Do poorly and you will die. What kind of test? You ask again. The threads disappear. The darkness disappears. Now you are floating in a plain white void. Choose. You look down. In your hand is a remote control with two round buttons. One is marked A. The other is marked B. Push button A. Or push button B.